welcome back to the Keystone Kickoff Show. I'm Jim Galante along with Eric Lammers from Penn State Rivals. Eric, it was another big recruiting weekend for the Nittany Lions with about recruits visiting. What are your highlights or takeaways from the weekend?
Yeah, I mean, I think the first thing to take away is obviously it wasn't even really supposed to be a bigger weekend, right? It was supposed to be a little bit smaller. They think a few guys that were able to fit into the schedule, but ultimately it just continued to grow. And we've talked about this before, but Coach Franklin just is never going to tell anybody no, right? He's going to have an opportunity to showcase his program, his culture, his facilities. And so if that works best for the young man, if the 22nd worked best for the young man, then he's going to welcome him on, and the staff's going to do their best job to kind of show everybody what Penn State's all about. You know, I think a few of the guys that were really the big time gets for them to have on campus this weekend. You know, D. Creighton was a 4-star linebacker out of Georgia. I think having the opportunity to get him all the way up from Georgia to Happy Valley is a pretty big deal. And by all accounts, he really clicked with Manny Diaz. So that's good. And he hasn't has talked to us and said that, you know, going forward, he's going to take a few more visits, but Penn State did enough there on this visit to position themselves as one of the top contenders for the Georgia 4-star. So that's pretty big. And then Kenny Johnson is a local receiver that made it to campus again. He's been a frequent visitor to Happy Valley. He's one of those guys that we've been watching as potential commit watch. It didn't necessarily happen this weekend, but we're going to continue to monitor and connect with him and just see what things are happening with his timeline. And then they had an official visitor on campus, Hunter Norzad from Cornell. And so as they look to solidify that 22 roster, down the stretch, getting a guy like that on campus that they believe can help them, whether it's interior, I believe probably interior is the best spot for him, but getting some more added depth there, somebody that can help, that's a big-time official visitor for them. And then they also had the two of their commitments on campus. So they had Mega Barnwell and Neo Avery on campus. And so any opportunity you have to get your commits back up with you around some of the kids that you're recruiting, around your staff, that's always time well spent. And so, I think it was a really good weekend for the Penn State staff. It wasn't necessarily supposed to be that way. They're going to have another one this weekend on the 29th that's supposed to be even bigger, and more names are coming to town. But it worked out this past weekend for a handful of dudes, and it just kind of snowballed into, you said, like a list that was 20+. And by all accounts, it was a really, really good weekend once again in Happy Valley.
Thanks, Eric. Fantastic update. For more Penn State information, you could go to pennstate.rivals.com, or you could also get our app, Keystone Sports, anywhere you get your podcasts. That's it for this edition of the show. Thanks for tuning in. Join us next time on the Keystone Kickoff Show.